Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me. We are officially in March, which means two things. First, spring is almost here, thank God. Anxious for warm weather, let's put it that way. And second, we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day this month. And with any luck of the Irish, maybe we'll see a break in interest rates. Not going to hold my breath. I'll speak to that later, but nonetheless, it would be nice if we had a little St. Patty's luck this month with interest rates. I'm going to start with mortgage applications. They were down 5% for purchases and down 7% for refinances as interest rates have ticked up over the course of the last couple of weeks. Interest has waned, not surprisingly. Jobless claims, those filing for the first time, up 13,000 and continuing up 45,000, which does speak to the concept that people are having difficulty securing new employment when they've been let go. And speaking to unemployment, in January, 25,000 warn notices were issued. And what warn notices are is large companies are required by law to give their employees 60 days notice if they're going to do major layoffs. So 25,000 of those, issued for January could speak to definitely some uptick in unemployment over the next couple of months. We'll see how that plays out. Maybe there won't be as many, despite the warn notices with any luck for consumers. We'll see. Tax refunds, they are expected to be lower by 29% this year relative to last year. The average tax return has always been around $2,000. That means $600 less for those people expecting a refund. Only bring that up just because I know some people do look forward to those tax returns, those who actually get them, because it does help pay for bills, or maybe they use it for discretionary items like a trip for the family or something like that. So that does expect to be lower this year. Walmart did speak to the fact that their ticket sales are down by 0.3%, that the average ticket sale is lower by 0.3%. So bring that up only because we talk a lot about consumer spending and how resilient the consumer is. But again, nobody really talking about the fact that a lot of that's going on credit card debt. A lot of people using that buy now, pay later program. So the fact that their ticket sales are down does speak to the fact that maybe consumer spending is slowing a little bit. And to support that as well, durable goods orders down 6.1%. And those are large ticket items, those that people purchase for more than a 3-year period, that last for more than 3 years. Think furniture as an example. So those are also down. Now, GDP, the fourth quarter second reading was released this week. It is now at 3.2%. The first reading was 3.3%, so down 0.1%. And then also this week was PCE. Headline number for January up 0.3%, but it did go down 0.2% year over year to 2.4%. So that's positive. But the core number up 0.4% month over month, but it did go down 0.1% to 2.8% on that core number year over year. So that's what the Feds pay attention to, is that core number. So it's good to see that number is coming down. Unfortunately, it's not coming down at the speed or the pace that the Feds want. So we're not hearing any talk of short-term interest rates coming anytime soon. That's now projected more towards June or July, unfortunately. So it'd be nice to see that sooner. It would be nice if we'd see that in March, but it doesn't appear that that's going to happen. Now, here's what's the challenge in the PCE numbers and even in CPI. What we've been faced with is these owner's equivalent rent number. And basically what the owner's equivalent rent is it's a survey taken of people that asks them how much would they rent their home for unfurnished without utilities. Based on the question alone, you can tell it's a very subjective number. There's really no way to quantify an actual number. So you can get a lot of owner's bias in this particular number. And what the challenge is, if you look at the core numbers for CPI and PCE, owner's equivalent rent makes up 1/6 of the core number in PCE, but it's 1/3 of the core number for CPI. So it has a large impact on those inflation numbers. So that's detrimental if we have a lot of bias going into that number. We can see that as it translates into the inflation numbers we're getting. Now, if you look at the historical information on owner's equivalent rent versus actual rent, you can see here the owner's equivalent rent is the black line. The red line represents actual rents. Typically, actual rents have been more than owner's equivalent rent, which is the way really it should be. But if you look at the recent numbers, the very end of this chart here, you can see that there is a big disconnect now with people saying they could probably rent for a lot more than what actual rents are. So I think just a lot of owners bias going into these numbers, and it does impact our inflation numbers, unfortunately. And then you can see historically that the vacancy rates continue to trend higher. So this does speak to the fact that maybe people are just thinking they can get more than what they can, putting their rents out there too high, and therefore their properties are remaining vacant for maybe longer than they would like. So that is what we have going on in the news. Let's take a look at the MBS charts. We are up 14 basis points for the day, which is good, seeing some positive there. The last couple of days have been been good to us, reasonably good, but we have been stuck hovering around this 200-day moving average for for 2 weeks now. So it's nice to kind of break away from that, and hopefully that trend will continue, because that could speak to lower interest rates. We have still not gotten back to where we peaked in the end of December last year, but maybe we can claw our way back there. And like I said, with any luck, the Irish, maybe we'll catch a break them sometime this month. So that's what's going on this week. If you have any questions for me, please do reach out to me. You're welcome to contact me by phone or by DM me on this video. I'll get right back to you. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I do appreciate when you like my videos. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the fantastic weather, and I'll see you next week.